the affordable housing in this neighborhood has been leaving.
Most of Sursum's quarters is closed down because of new renovations of housing.
We used to know the people. In fact, we used to get together and I knew their names, but it's not that like that anymore.
Well, in the last 10 or so years, we've been fighting to hold on to a neighborhood.
What makes a home a home? Is it comfortability, family, safety? What happens when you start becoming unfamiliar with the people around you? Can you still call this place a home? Sursum Corda, an area of Washington, D.C., is being changed by gentrification. Due to the New Communities Initiative, the neighborhood has largely been abandoned. On paper, this initiative seems like a good thing. The plan was to demolish the old buildings in Sursum Corda and surrounding communities, which would make room for new ones that would promote a more mixed-income community, welcoming in both affluent buyers as well as incorporating 571 subsidized units to bring back older residents. However, construction on this development was initially supposed to be complete by 2014.
We had seen what had happened to the southwest area of Washington, D.C. They literally went in and just tore down, frightened people, and they went everywhere.
The neighborhood remained in shambles for over a decade, before finally being demolished in late 2018. The plan is now to bring in 1,100 housing units while making 196 of them affordable. This plan seems to be a step in the right direction, but Sursum Corda's neighboring communities had already been damaged by unkept promises by the government and private organizations. Temple Court, an area that used to be home to over 200 subsidized housing units, had fallen victim to this.
At the time, the city promised that those units would be replaced one for one, and that promise is not yet kept. The fight began about replacing the Temple Courts neighborhood, and it took the city a long time, but eventually they put out a request for proposals to developers to develop replacement units for Temple Courts. The plan, ultimately, that the city developed and that they selected a developer for is going to put in over 1,100 units on that site that includes 33 K Street. A lot of those units are going to be market rate. They're going to be expensive units in that property. But among the other things in that, other units in that property, there will be 213 units committed to replace the former Temple Courts units.
Although these problems are finally being given some attention, the existing damage cannot be ignored.
I think it's changing the culture of the people in the neighborhood because we are now being moved away from the area. Affordability probably is the major concern.
I never thought I'd see the time where I couldn't even tell you my next door neighbor's name or anything.
We put a plan together where we would rehouse people in this neighborhood and be able to do it in such a structure where the oldest and the youngest families with low income, moderate income, all would be able to return to this neighborhood, and it has happened. I want to see Congress to make that a broader field, not only for what they've done here, but take this community and use it as a demonstration of what can be done in other cities. Okay, so that we can go on looking out not just for the poorest of the poor, but everybody, the richest of the richest too. We work for housing and urban development. We work for the Speaker of the House to be aware of what's going on in low-income families, low-income in neighborhoods. We work for health, we work for legal services. We work for education.
When we first moved here, we used to meet I knew all their names and addresses and telephone numbers, but that's been a long time ago. I know that one of my neighbors, I don't know the other one. I wouldn't know him if he came in the room.